Hey guys, thank you so much for following us to episode number 2 of Connecting with the Capital District. Today we're going to be interviewing Kristen Casper from Law & Law. We're very excited to be able to sit down with her and learn more about her practice. So follow us in, and we look forward to learning more about her practice and what she's doing to connect with the Capital District. All right, guys. Hey Kristen, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming today.
Yeah, looking forward to sit down with you and learn more about what you're doing in the capital region. Hey Kristen, thank you so much for coming on Connecting with the Capital District. We're really excited to learn more about your business, what you're doing in the capital region, and just more about you. So first question I have for you today is, what service are you in, and how does your service impact the capital region?
Of course, and thank you for having me today.
No problem.
I'm an attorney. I practice primarily in real estate, estate planning, estates. I do a little bit of business stuff here and there because real estate really connects to everything. So I try to keep, always a little wide array of practices on the side in order to help my clients and service them better with their real estate transactions.
Awesome. That's so cool. I think it's great how you're, connecting with the Capital District and how your practice works specifically with agents and clients, and it just really helps to bring everybody together. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a really good answer about what you just said. So to kind of further expound on that, what inspired you to be a lawyer?
I became a lawyer in the beginning, not because I wanted to, go out there and litigate like, those big firms and make the money and all that stuff. I kind of became a lawyer because just for the degree to have influence and help advocate for people who are unable to, kind of was my goal to be able to, the cliche answer of, help the world. But really, I just wanted to do it one individual at a time. And that's why I ended up getting into law in the first place.
Awesome. That's a really impactful story. And I think it's great that you started with a purpose. You just didn't just do it just for the degree or just for, just for any other, purpose other than helping people, because that's really what the core of being an attorney is. Mm-hmm.
It is, and I think a lot of what I do on a daily basis, it might not be the most, world-changing things, but it helps each individual, especially in the capital region being so close-knit. Everyone connects in a way, so I end up helping the capital region at the end of the day, which is why, I think Albany is a great place to start a business.
Definitely. I think that's a really good reason why we have you on the show, because you're making a difference within the Capital District. So, Kristen, what's the most challenging part of your profession?
I'm a lawyer, so everything's challenging, but that's why I enjoy what I do. I think specifically for what I do and the position I'm in is challenging because I am a young entrepreneur. I partnered young in the legal field, and it's sometimes a very difficult, road because everyone's, been doing it 30 years or whatever it is. And it is hard, keeping up with the pace of that, but I've learned really it's just taking day by day, keeping organized, and learning young has really changed my outlook on what you can do in this world. You can start a business and you can do whatever you put your mind to, and I think that's extremely important, and that's a good message that I've learned doing this, but it is challenging.
Awesome.
On a daily basis.
Well, I think you're doing a really good job, and I think it's great how you started young, and it's good how you haven't let a lot of the older people in the industry affect your approach. And I think your approach is really good because you bring in not only youth, but you also bring in just a different type of perspective on the industry, and I think that's awesome. And it's good how you're able to, bring in all of your talents to be able to help people in a different way. So what do you think right now is one of the biggest problems with the industry, and what are you doing to effectuate change within the industry?
Coming into lawyering, pretty young, I've found that there's a lot of, what I didn't like about the industry was the fact that there's a lot of heated, angry approach to kind of everything. It has to be a fight. Yeah. And, that's the cliche understanding of lawyering is, you want to come in like a blazing hot and you want to hit them, right away with that kind of mentality. And I think changing the industry is important to me, and especially the young lawyers in the Capital Region. We're all kind of going towards this agreeable strategy where we approach things calmly and we approach them professionally, but we band together to change things, to help both of our clients and work together and mediate the situation before it becomes very heated. So I think that's the big thing we're trying to change as young attorneys in the Capital Region. And me and Justin Law, who I work with, have really, really dedicated our practice towards doing that and just being people that are fun to work with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it really shows by your approach in your practice how you guys are doing things differently and how you're working together to be able to come to the common goal. Whether that's mediation, whether that's doing things in real estate law during a transaction. I think it's good with your approach, and I think it's something that the industry should learn from. So, Kristen, what's it like adjusting to the Capital Region? Just because you're not necessarily originally from here. So, where are you from, and how has life been within the Capital Region?
Well, yeah, I mean, I came here it's been about 7 years now, I believe. I came here for law school originally. I'm from Buffalo, New York. Well, actually south of Buffalo, if anyone knows, Batavia, New York, a very small town outside of Batavia, actually. So I just never really talk about it. But I grew up in a very, very small town. So coming here was kind of like a culture shock in a sense to me. I did live in DC for a few months, but that was temporary. When I moved here for law school, I know I was going to stay here. So that was kind of like a crazy experience coming into the Capital District and seeing all different, there's Troy, there's Schenectady, there's Saratoga, there's all different places you can go and get kind of whatever you want, food-wise, entertainment. It's kind of exciting because it's just, there's so much going on. I did originally, when I was graduating, I was planning on possibly moving back to Buffalo. And I decided after connecting so much with the Capital Region and law school, because Albany Law School has a huge alumni network, I decided, I wanted to stay. And I felt comfortable here and it felt like home. I had grown my network while I was here. So it's a really good experience I've had here. And I'm excited that I was able to grow my business here.
It's awesome. And it's really interesting that you're from somewhere like native of the Capital Region. I'm originally from Hudson, which is, I guess you can say, Hudson Valley area to some extent. So it's a smaller town. And, with that being said, I transitioned over to Troy when I went to college, and it was definitely a culture shock. And it was just a different area because Hudson's a small town and Troy is, a lot bigger and different roads. So it was definitely took me a little while to get used to it. But I agree with you with respect to growing the network and just really putting your roots down somewhere. And I think the Capital Region is a great place to have your roots.
It really is, and it's got a dynamic that I don't think really any area has, because you can have that small town in 20 minutes you're in the city, and then 20 minutes, you're in a kind of rural area. You have everything you want around here, which I think is really exciting. And it makes it so that, if you're not in the mood for something, you just go 20 minutes and you have something else. So I think it's a really good place to settle down, and I decided that's where I wanted to stay.
Exactly. So besides practicing law and all the fun things that you do with estate planning and real estate, what are some extracurricular activities and things that you do outside of the office?
Yeah, so I like to think I have hobbies. I try my best, cut out time for me, because I think that's important for me mentally, for my clients. A big thing is I like to work out. Fitness is a big thing for me. Just personally, it's a big, network of people and friends, and just I love the area where in the gym where I go. I go to ABC Fitness in Latham, and I'm really close to Matt, who's one of the owners there, and he's just been great for the Capital Region and connecting everyone. And the gym is just a phenomenal gym, and I'm really picky about that. So I did do a prior bodybuilding show, just as a challenge to myself. And currently, I'm also working on a book. At some point, hopefully in the future, it would be published. But that's a slow process, and I got back into dancing recently, so that's been really fun. Just kind of trying to connect with the creative side of me again, because I think that's beneficial to what I do, and I haven't really been in that arena in a while. So
It's awesome. So how do you balance the things that you do on the side with gym and writing your book, as well as just bodybuilding and everything in general with your practice?
Sometimes I don't think I do. No, I do. But it's sometimes a challenge, and on a daily basis, you're always learning to balance and how to balance, and adjusting things because with law and what I do, things pop up,
Of course.
spur of the moment. You can't really predict them sometimes. So it's kind of always a constant balance, and really just telling myself, Kristen, you just need to take time for yourself for a little while. It's going to benefit your business and your clients. That's what I try to tell myself every time I'm taking a little time for myself, because I am someone who overworks. I know it's going to benefit them because I'm going to be refreshed and I'll have a fresh eye on what I'm looking at and the advice that I'm giving them. So I think it's important to, always be constantly working on that.
Yeah, feng shui is definitely important. It's good to have the balance. So I think that's great. So to kind of transition, what are some of your favorite places to eat within the capital region?
Oh, yes. So one of my favorites is El Loco in Albany. I'm a really big Mexican food person, so that's one of my favorites. And tequilas, obviously. A lot of people know I love tequila, so that's a great part of the capital region over there. I think over near that area, because I went to law school. A lot of those restaurants over there I love.
That's great. That's definitely a fun fact. I think it's awesome. Mexican food is amazing. Chimichangas and tacos, you can't beat it. Taco Tuesday, so that's great.
Yeah, of course.
So Kristen, you've done an awesome job in our interview today. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy, so I appreciate all of your answers to our questions. You've been very transparent. And I have one more question for you. And that question is, what way can the capital region connect with you?
That's a great question. I think over here we kind of pride ourselves on our ability to work with clients in a very, down-to-earth manner. We like to be able to have our clients call us and ask us questions and not feel uncomfortable that they don't understand the process, they don't know what's going on, they don't know how it works. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so they are always, very nervous when they call. And I try to kind of settle their nerves and be like, let me handle this part, you do the rest, don't worry about that. And I also like to work with new agents and agents that have been in the business a long time. I enjoy learning from agents. I think they're a huge part of the transaction. And I enjoy, counseling agents and helping them through the transactions and understand better what the attorney does and what our role is. So it's a big part of what I do is just having that down-to-earth approach and being responsive. I think that's a big issue in real estate, making sure everyone's aware of what's going on. And I think a lot of the times there's miscommunication. So me and Justin over here and Bob Law, who is retiring, we really tried to pride ourselves on communication with our clients and connecting everyone in the transactions. I think it's extremely important. So that's really what we focus on is that approach. And, thus far it seems to be working. And it seems the especially younger generation is more, open to that approach and they really enjoy that approach. I think the old school practice of law is kind of phasing out. And I want to bring in a new vibe and a new thing that works for this younger generation coming in.
Definitely. I think that's a great answer. And I think really your practice really shows a different approach. And I think that you're really doing a good job kind of spearheading that with Justin. And I think it's awesome. And I think I think every attorney in the capital region can learn from what you guys are doing, as well as I think everyone can kind of work together collectively to be able to effectuate the change that's needed to ensure that the real estate transaction is smooth, transparent, there's no questions that are unanswered, and the clients are comfortable during the process. So I think that's awesome. And I think that, long story short, you're doing a great job and continue the great work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.